Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Today's episode is called Letting Go of What Was Never Meant for Me. And it's for anyone who's ever had to let go of someone they deeply cared about. Someone who, if we're being honest, just wasn't good for you. Maybe you gave them every piece of your heart. Maybe you held on to the potential. Maybe you believed if you just loved them hard enough, they'd finally show up the way you needed. But instead, you ended up showing up for someone who couldn't or wouldn't do the same for you. And now you're left in that painful in-between, missing them, but knowing you can't go back. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the heartbreak of choosing yourself even when it hurts. So the honest truth of it all is, just because someone wasn't good for you doesn't mean your feelings weren't real. Love doesn't just disappear just because logic steps in, and you can know they weren't right for you and still miss them a lot. Still crave the connection and still wonder what could have been if things were just a little bit different. But here's the thing that changed everything for me. Missing someone isn't a reason to go back. It's just a sign that you felt deeply and that you're human. And we're all human, so we're all going to have those feelings every now and then. Sometimes the heart wants what the soul knows isn't safe for you. And it's in those moments when your heart aches to reach out that you have to ask yourself, do I want comfort or do I want growth? And sometimes that loneliness can make us act upon feelings that we really shouldn't be acting upon, when we should be putting and pouring more of our energy into ourselves and growing and becoming better as a person, opposed to reaching out to somebody that we know isn't good for us. So, looking back, I can admit that in certain situations, I stayed way longer than I should have, and I held on to a version of them that only existed in my imagination. I ignored my needs, and I quieted my intuition. I gave more than I had, hoping they'd finally see my worth if I did. And every time they didn't, I blamed myself instead of asking, why am I fighting so hard for someone who keeps making me feel like I'm not enough? Let's be clear. You are not hard to love. You just love someone who didn't know how to hold you. And your job now isn't to become smaller, more patient, or more understanding. Your job is to become so deeply rooted in your self-worth that no one can make you forget it again. And I know that's hard, but this chapter, it's about proving who you are to yourself and not proving anything to them. You know that you can be a better version of yourself. You can grow more in life. You can learn more. You can see more, do more. So let's do that. Let's focus on that. Let's try to turn that pain into power. I know it's hard, but the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is prove to yourself that you can create the life that you want to live without them in it. You are stronger than the version of you who tolerated being half-loved. And you're way braver than the version of you who begged for the bare minimum. And you're wiser than the version of you who thought they were the only love you'd ever get. So now what? Let's start by reclaiming your time, putting your energy back into your goals, your healing, your art, your joy. Journal through the hard days, because that genuinely does really help. And if journaling doesn't help, do a voice memo. But try to find what works for you specifically. Sometimes it's getting active, getting physical, going out and exercising, or finding something that you really enjoy doing. Mellowing out, going for a swim, things like that. Call people who remind you of who you are. Have a good supportive friend group around you, or a family member that you can call. Say no when old patterns try to reel you back in. So those lonely nights when you're missing them so much and you know you got no business calling them, but you want to call them anyway, you have to tell yourself no. You have to stay strong. And most importantly, don't wait until you're fully healed to start living again. Get out, get up, and do something about your life. Make something of your life. And the biggest strength and growth comes when you're fighting through those pains or those aches and realizing that you can get past it. You can get over it. You can become better while you're healing. Not just meaning to grab somebody brand new and just start trying to date all over again and creating new wounds, but just becoming a better version of yourself, Healing happens in doing, in the choosing to get up and keep going in the building of a life that reflects your self-worth, even if you still cry sometimes on the way there. So repeat these with me, or just let them sink into your spirit. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and say, I choose myself, even when it's hard. I deserve a love that nurtures, not one I have to survive. I am not defined by who didn't stay. I release what is not aligned with my peace. I am safe to move forward. I will not settle for almost love. I am worthy of a love that feels like home, and that home starts within me. Now, if you're listening to this right now and your heart is aching, just know that you're not alone. You're allowed to miss them. You're allowed to cry, but you are not meant to go back to something that broke you. Healing isn't about forgetting. It's about remembering who you are. So take a deep breath. Exhale. You're doing a lot better than you think, and you're not behind. You're just rebuilding right now. And that takes time and grace and a whole lot of love for yourself. I'm proud of you. Until next time, keep choosing you. And thank you for listening to The Power Is Mine.